And breathe. What a stressful watch that was. After giving up that first goal, coming back from behind to win the game, I can finally breathe. We're going to go over some English football today. Welcome back to World Sports Culture TV. Yeah, let's get into it. What a game. Harry Kane being our savior again. It really kind of seems like this English team lacks creativity. And it kind of seems that if Harry doesn't do something kind of magical or pull something out of the bag, that we're going to be struggling. Luckily, he's unbelievable. One of only 3 players in the world to ever have 60 goals in a calendar season alongside the great Ronaldo and Messi. What a banger that second goal was. Absolute top bins. Just put his laces right through the boot after shifting it onto his right foot. Very stressful watch. I have to say I don't agree with some of these decisions that Tuchel is making out on the wings, starting Madueke over Saka. I would have had Saka starting with Rashford. And in general, definitely don't agree. Hindsight is always 20/20. Definitely don't agree with these decisions to leave guys like Palmer and Foden at home. This England team looks like it's lacking a little bit of creativity. I think Anthony Gordon has been poor, to say the least, on that left wing. Doesn't seem to have the ability to beat a man. Doesn't seem to have the ability to really create a lot of chances consistently. I think Barcelona buying him might be a shocking transfer for them. I know Barca like to have that high press and win the ball back right away and have guys who have elite engines and work ethic on them. But if you're asking me, I think Rashford is the better player than Gordon, especially for playing on the wing. What do I want from my winger? I want a guy who's going to be able to beat a man, create chances for himself, have good shots, score. And Rashford proven to be good for Barcelona. He had a good season with them last year. Hit a banger free kick for them, had a couple big goals. Looked like he was really adapting to that system nicely. I think he plays well in a high press system where they're catching teams on counters, and with his pace and nuance to operate on the wing. To me, I just feel like Rashford's definitely a better fit for that team, but who knows what's going on behind the scenes, attitude problems or locker room issues, you never know. But I don't see Anthony Gordon as a Barcelona player, personally. As far as today, though, with this game, England getting off to these really slow starts, these really nervy starts, not really putting in convincing performances. Little something to worry about, in my opinion. I think we need to have a little bit more creativity on the pitch. Elliot Anderson, a lot of sideways and backwards passing, in my opinion. I don't think he had a great game. Jed Spence was kind of getting cooked out there on the left by the right winger. Didn't seem like he was having his best game. And Jed is usually supposed to be pretty solid at defense. That's kind of what he prides himself on, being able to lock up guys one-on-one. But he gave up that early goal. Also, I thought the center backs on that first goal kind of collapsed and kind of left him out on an island, and for the overlap for that guy to come in and bang that goal in. Pickford maybe could have done better with that, but we're not going to blame Pickford on that. It was a really good shot right into the bottom corner, super accurate, had a lot of pace on it. Overall, that England game was super stressful. My stress levels were through the roof. I couldn't breathe to that final whistle went in. Was praying that Wissa did not bang that free kick. That would have been absolute shambles. Probably would have put my phone through the TV, no lie. Couldn't be happier with Harry, though. Played a great game, in my opinion, being able to take that chance, half chance really, be able to bang that in top bins, world-class strike. Always in the right place for his headers. So, at the end of the day, we got it done. We move on. Playing a strong Mexico team. Mexico looked really good last night in their convincing win over Ecuador. I actually thought that was going to be a cagey game. I thought Ecuador was going to be able to have a little bit more of a defensive presence and maybe hold out for a draw and try to drag that game into penalties. But Mexico came out on fire. Quinones having a great tournament. What a goal he had last night for Mexico to really set the tone. And he had the assist, man of the match performance by him. So looking forward to that Mexico game against England. Little nervous. I don't think England can have a slow start like we've been having against Ghana and Congo, for example, today, and get away with it against that Mexico team. That Mexico team has a lot of fight, a lot of dog in them. If we don't set the tone in that game, it could definitely be a rough outing for us. I want to talk a little bit about Spurs. As a big Spurs supporter, what we're doing in the market after barely surviving relegation. Last year was, speaking of stress, last year was easily one of the most stressful seasons I've had to endure as a Tottenham Hotspur fan. Losing week in, week out. I think we had 3 home wins on the season, and one of them came as the last home game of the season against Everton. I feel bad for the fans who are boots on ground, going to games week in, week out, watching us lose, putting in horrid performances. Horrible manager we had with Frank. Even though, to begin with, I'm not going to lie, I was kind of backing him. I thought he did a great job at Brentford, and sometimes you give a little bit too much credit to the manager as for the system or how the club operates. Obviously, Brentford is a extremely well-ran club, great scouting system, and just overall ability to run a club at a high level. Brentford really succeeds at that, along with teams like Brighton and Bournemouth, for example. So once it went wrong with him and we just started spiraling downhill, we brought in Igor Tudor. That didn't work at all. And then we threw the bag at De Zerbi. After turning us down a couple times, De Zerbi finally wanted to come in after giving him a really big contract and offering him, I'm sure, tons of promises and tons of control over the club. It looks like this window, this transfer window this summer, is probably going to be the best transfer window that I've ever seen. Possibly the best transfer window in the history of Tottenham Hotspur. Yesterday, we had great news. We got a here we go for Mateus Fernandez. $85 million transfer fee, or 85 million pounds. I'm not sure if it's pounds or euros. But either way, it's our club record signing as of now. Couldn't be happier with the signing. He was an absolute beast at West Ham and really showed his quality in a team that had little quality. Obviously, a team that got relegated, and that's why they were looking to be sellers in the summer. Love the Portuguese roots. Portuguese players are usually phenomenal, great midfielders. Probably have the best midfield in the world right now in this World Cup, even though Portugal have been playing a little slow, a little England-esque. Lack of creativity, lack of directness in their play. Definitely Portugal fans aren't happy with that last game that they saw versus Colombia, but they're going to keep moving on to the round of 32 as well. Just looking forward to a really good window this summer for Spurs. We've already done a lot of action, more transfers than we've done in previous years early on in the window. Bringing in Van Heck, people say we got our pants pulled down for him. He had 1 year left on his deal at Brighton, and we shelled out 52 million pounds or euros for his transfer. I don't think we got our pants pulled down if you saw his last performance for the Netherlands. Guy was all over the pitch. He has a goal this World Cup. Getting his head bloodied, really, really gritty defender, willing to do the dirty work. Excellent passing range on him. I think he's going to be a huge asset for Tottenham Hotspur. It looks like we brought in Marco Senesi and Andy Robertson on frees, which were really smart moves, getting in 2 free transfers and guys of that caliber early on in the window to really help our back line and really give us some depth. I think were key moves. And love that Andy Robertson comes in with real veteran presence, real winning know-how. I think he's a mentality monster, and on a Spurs team where we kind of lack mentality, not going to lie. We have a bunch of young guys in our team. Last year, after giving up 1 goal, heads would drop. We had not many wins or even draws coming back from 1-0 games or, being down 1-0 to start early with. So I think having a guy like that in the locker room is super important. I think he's going to boost team morale and hopefully, show a lot for us. And also, he's going to be a great backup defender for Udogie, who has tons of injury issues, can't really seem to stay fit on a consistent basis, and that seems to be his main issue. Really looking forward to what the transfer window also holds going forward. Today, Brighton got a here we go for Arman Vuskovic. Looks like Spurs were not able to sell him on another loan and continue that growth progress with him. He had a phenomenal season last year in the Bundesliga, making a Bundesliga Team of the Year. I believe he won Young Player of the Year too in the Bundesliga, but I could be wrong. Looks like we sold him for around 40 million pounds today with a sell-on clause and a buyback clause where we can match any offer. So the deal is pretty friendly for us. I'm not too upset about it. Spurs, we've been kind of always worried about tomorrow before worrying about today. Always kind of looking into the future before worrying about what's going on now. And that's kind of why we have been having poor finishes as of recent seasons. Starting guys like Gray and Bergval consistently in the midfield, and Odegaard and Tell. And these are just young players who aren't really proven at this level yet. Do I think they have talent and are going to make it at this level? Most likely, yes. But are they ready now to be competing for top of the table in the English Premier League? No. The answer is no. That's why we've been finishing 17th. So it looks like Spurs this summer have a real target to go after proven, ready now players for the starting 11 that are going to help us climb up this table. And I think that's what all the fans have been asking for. We want players that are ready now. Mateus Fernandez, even though he's a couple years or a year older than your Bergvals or your Grays, he has shown so much more. And he's obviously levels above them right now in footballing. I think he comes in, walks right into the starting 11 alongside Matters and Gallagher right now, who are going to be our 10s, unless we get another guy who could play 10 and possibly back up on the right wing for Kudus. We're definitely lacking some attacking power right now, but I think they're just kind of building from the back. We brought in all our defenders first. We're done in the transfer window for defenders. It looks like we just brought in our first really marquee midfield signing with Mateus Fernandez, who I'm super happy with. I think he's going to be a great player. And it looks like Tonali is up next. If we get Sandro Tonali, I have to say my expectations for this next season are going to be pretty high. And I'm going to be pretty excited. And super excited and super happy for the fans out there in England who are supporting this club every single day. Boots on ground, traveling home and away, going to these games to give their unprecedented support for this club. They deserve this. They deserve to have a team that wins on and off the pitch. We have some of the highest revenues in England, the highest ticket pricing in England, and it only makes sense that they put out a proper product. And it looks like we're on our way to doing that. Couldn't be happier right now. England got the win. Our boy Harry showed out. Spurs are making moves in the transfer window, and I just want to see more now. Kind of here to talk about a little bit of the future as well with this transfer window after seeing what's already been happening and the good window that we've had thus far. And I say good, not great. This will be a great window if we add some goals into this team, which is super important. Definitely missing a left winger. They're going to be getting a left winger, I would have to believe so. We're in links with Savio and Malik Fofana and even Marcus Rashford. There's been links to, so I'm really not too concerned at what left winger we get with the links that we are having right now. If we bring in a Savio, I'm happy with it. I think he's underperformed at Manchester City due to a bunch of different variables. System, low blocks being played against City, him not being played consistently and getting enough minutes, really being able to hit his stride, him playing on the wrong side. He likes to be a left winger, and they're playing him out on the right because they have Doku on the left and other players that, like Semenyo, City's stacked always with talent. So I would be super happy with Savio. I would be super happy with Marcus Rashford as long as his head is screwed on right. It seems that off-field issues are kind of Marcus Rashford's biggest deal. On the pitch, watching him for England, easily our best winger. He looks great on a daily basis. I recently saw England play live here in Tampa at Raymond James Stadium against New Zealand, and he seemed like the best player on the pitch besides for Harry and Jude. So would be super happy with Marcus or Savio or even Malik Fofana, who showed flashes of brilliance and a lot of quality at Lyon. Only thing I worry about with Malik Fofana is he's a little bit small, a little slight of frame. Don't know if he's going to get bullied too much in the Premier League, but as far as quality, that's there with him. And really looking forward to see a striker option come in. Our strikers are lackluster. I think Richie needs to get moved on. I have tons of respect for Richarlison with his heart and the way he conducts himself on and off the pitch. He's one of the only players who actually says hello to fans and gives signatures and make sure that the kids are noticed and that the fans are showed appreciation for. And I think that goes a long way. A lot of these athletes don't show enough respect to the fans and to these people who put in their hard work, their effort, their time, their money to come support these guys. And these guys would be nothing without the fans. If there was no fans and nobody watching this game, these guys wouldn't be making money and there would be no big Premier League. So I think giving back to the fans is always super important. And I respect that about Richie. But as far as just quality and product on the pitch, Richarlison drives me absolutely crazy. Sometimes you watch him play and you think he has cinder blocks attached to his feet. So I definitely am looking for more quality to be brought in at the striker position as well. As an American, look at what Florian Balogun is doing right now for the U.S. and what he was doing last year for Monaco. He bagged tons of goals in the French league, and I think he's a really good striker. And we just got links to him recently. It's a little biased for me, but I would be super excited if we got Florian Balogun to have an American guy on the team that we could root for. I don't think we've had an American guy maybe since Clint Dempsey for that one season, but I'm not too sure. Definitely would love to see maybe him, and like I said, a Savio, a Rashford, a Fofana, an Elmala maybe, somebody of that nature on the left wing. And I would even be pushing for another winger, maybe that can play both sides of the pitch for backup and for depth. Odebert has a torn ACL. He's not going to be back for a little while. Even Xavi, who could play a little bit on the left, he's not going to be back for a little while. We do have Tell, who can fill in that left wing, and even striker a little bit. So we have a little depth, but I think we do need to really add some goals into this team, into the top of the pitch. But as far as these midfielders, getting Mateus Fernandes, it looks like Tonali is kind of inevitable, and if that really happens, we're set in midfield with Bentancur, Gallagher, Fernandes, potentially Tonali. We have Matters back fit, playing 10. Even though you really can't count on Matters too much, he's very injury prone. We do have Xavi coming back eventually from his torn ACL as well. Kulusevski, we all don't know what kind of shape he's in right now and how football ready he is, but he was nearing a return for this World Cup and he was really pressing to get into that Swedish team. So I think Kulusevski should be ready for summer training with the boys, and he could definitely play 10 as well and fill in there. So I'm really liking what I'm seeing for Spurs. It's a shame that we not always, but we usually don't move like this from a position of power. We do this from a position of weakness. Finishing 17th definitely scared the shit out of the owners, and they definitely don't ever want to see us that close to relegation ever again. And it's refreshing to see them realize where they've been wrong and how they have mistreated the squad or maybe haven't invested as much as they should into it. And it looks like we're headed to one of the biggest transfer windows of our club's history, and definitely well-deserved. We definitely need it. We definitely need these type of players coming in. We definitely need these big signings coming in, and we definitely need to climb that table again. Let's get some European football again. Next year it's going to be a little slow, one game a week, besides for the domestic cups. No European football next year, which is probably good for us next year just to give us a breather, being able to manage the squad, hopefully manage injuries a little bit better after being injury ravaged for the past 2 seasons. Most injuries in Europe out of any club the past 2 seasons, I'm pretty sure. So it's definitely been a big issue. So I'm definitely looking forward to this new chapter under De Zerbi, getting a full season under him, a full summer training under him. And I'm looking forward to hopefully finishing. I don't want to sound too ambitious. I would be happy with top 7, top 6-ish if we get in all our targets. So it really depends on how this window shapes out and what it looks like at the end of the window. But I think overall, as an English fan, as a Spurs supporter, I think it was a fabulous day for us. Our club legend banging in 2 goals, saving our country's tails a little bit, saving the skins on our ass a little bit, definitely getting us through to the next round. And, performing. Always love to see Harry perform. Got his jersey on right now. And definitely always a good day to be a Spurs fan when you're looking at Bombas and you're looking at, potential revenue coming into the club for more signings and, more links. So couldn't be happier today. Let's go, England. On to the next round. We definitely have to take Mexico out. We have to come out strong in that game. Telling you right now, Mexico, not to be messed with. If we come out slow, we give up an early goal to them, it will be a tougher game than this was against Congo. Best believe it. And I definitely want to see Saka starting next game and Rashford. I don't want to see Gordon. I don't want to see Madueke starting. If our boys get tired and they need to come in, I understand it. But I think Tuchel missed a trick. I really do. I think we should have been had Cole Palmer on this team and Phil Foden for sure. I think Phil Foden and Cole Palmer are easily some of the most creative and best English talents in football, and why those guys were left home for a little bit maybe more defensive stability and a little bit more engine and fight to the team, I disagree with it. I think we should really be attacking teams, looking to be creative and score more goals. Hopefully this is a lesson learned for the future. Foden is young, and so is Palmer, so hopefully the next World Cup we see those boys enter the frame. Great day. Hope everybody enjoyed what I had to say. Please drop a comment. Please like the video. Please subscribe to the page. Really trying to get this off the ground. If you enjoyed my hot takes or possibly my cold takes, let me know. Give me your opinions, and I'll also be sure to, answer back to anybody who enjoyed the content. Come on, England. Let's go.